high would the price of most projects? Yo, what's up, YouTube? How's everybody doing on the YouTube side of things? We're also live on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, and we also have a Twitter space going as well. If you guys want to come up in this space, then just join on Twitter and you'll be able to do that. What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday, guys. Got an exciting week ahead. About to go ahead and start. We're going to be live on the Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and we have a Twitter space going. So if you want to come up in the Twitter space and say something about Control Token, it's always great for people to hear from the community as well. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, if you guys are on any of the other platforms, if you want to come up and ask any questions on the AMA, you have to do it through the Twitter space, which we're live on right now. And anybody can come up here and ask whatever you want to ask. I might have the answer, I might not, but I'll do my best to answer that. I think we have a cool, exciting week started. We have a lot of marketing starting this week. Coming up, and I've also, we did the giveaway thing, and that's when we saw that excitement in the chart, is when we did this giveaway of 1.2 million tokens. And then we basically, I started looking at like lottery laws and stuff, and it's like, if you're doing a giveaway, it has to be free. The entry to the giveaway has to be free, and so we can't do that anymore. But we saw good momentum, and so it's just thinking about what's the best way to continue to kind of do giveaways, to have this excitement, but not, do it illegally or do it immorally in any kind of way like that. And I was up, I don't sleep great at night, so I was up and I thought of, ooh, this is a really good idea. So I have a really cool way to incorporate the a giveaway style that is going to be good for the project, but also not be something that we shouldn't be doing. And so we're going to be implementing that probably this week as well. And so, yeah, really looking forward to that. I'll do my best to read through the comments on YouTube as well. I just want to give you guys a quick update on what things are looking like right now. For one, we have a ton of buys coming in. Like, sometimes you guys are just buying when I'm not even doing anything. Like, there's no space going, there's no anything going on. And we got $75 buy, $300 buy, $300 buy, 8 hours ago, $400 buy, 5 hours ago, $1,100 buy, $48 buy, 47, 149, 117, 726, 500, and 100, all within the span of like me not really doing anything. So I don't know where all that's coming from. It'd be cool with each buy if there was just like a little explanation next to it, like, just checking out the project, figured I'd throw a little in or something, so you know where it's all coming from, or if whether it's a current. I know you can track the blockchain and see if they currently hold and if they're just buying more, but that's a lot of effort to do for each buy. And some of you guys are looking at that, but a lot of buy pressure, and like I said, we have a lot of exciting things coming. We just have like an amazing opportunity with this project, and the more that we look at it, the more that I can see the vision to the road to success. And I think we have an amazing setup with that vision to where like it does, in my perspective, it doesn't really matter what happens. Like ultimately there's like best case scenario of what happens in terms of getting momentum and seeing that momentum become explosive and seeing the kind of things that we want to see that lead to the volume that we want to see that leads to the reward events that we want to see, right? But even if things go south, like if we are stunted and we have sideways action, that's fine. We're holding an amazing ceiling right now. We've been sitting at this 4x, 4 million market cap for we've been less than 2 weeks, which is crazy. And so most projects that you've seen is a quick pump, a quick dump. If holders aren't immediately have the most exciting news, they'll just kind of get out, and then that can cause everybody else to get out. We have protection against that, right? We have a massive community who's actually dedicated to long term, to giving this project a long time to succeed. And once it starts to get that momentum, they're dedicated to allowing that momentum to go. And that's a crazy situation to have. I think that creates a situation where we're much likely to recover from sell-offs. If a sell-off did happen right now, I think it would be eaten up without me having to do anything, not including anything that we're doing. There's just such a demand on the token. And then, if you guys didn't see, I put out some post on Twitter, which is talking about, I think it was around 17 million. The current price we're at right now, and it would probably be less in volume, but 17 million in volume would put us at a floor of the current price where you could put in whatever you're putting in, the value would be covered by what it is that you're putting in terms of the rewards. So technically, if you're not staking, it's not covered, right? But if we hit around 17 million, somebody will be able to drop $1,000 if the price is what it's at today, and get $1,000 in rewards. And so I don't know if you've ever seen a project. I want you to keep, when you're thinking about Control Token, keep comparing it to the rest of the projects that you've seen, because that's what really makes this thing shine. To think that if we only hit 17 million in volume, that this would be a floor for like the rest of the year, that this current price, that our all-time high would become a floor. And so even if the price was and this might be unexplored territory of how crazy this can get, that it's not just, if I put 1,000 in and I stake, I'll have $1,000 worth of rewards that can only go up, plus the potential of my bag to go up. Of course they're going to do that. Of course you guys are going to do that. But what if you put in 1,000 and 500 of your buy-in was covered? You'd probably do that too, right? What if you put 1,000 in and a quarter of what you're putting in was covered in rewards? So that's why one of the main objectives this week is to put as much pressure and as much resources towards getting the rewards showing properly on the website and getting that calculator working, because that kind of is the selling point of the project. And it's super important that people know when you buy into this project, you're buying into guaranteed value, whether it be small or whether it be a lot. If the price goes down a lot, the buying opportunities are insane for this project. That's why it protects against these massive sell-offs, because the more it goes down, the better your entry point into these rewards are. The more the price goes up, the worse it is, right? But we have a long way to go before it becomes like not a great entry point into potentially really good volume. That's some of the numbers I was going over yesterday. Was even only 100,000 tokens with $400, cost around $400, $500 at the current price. That gets you around 100,000 tokens. And so you're not putting in a lot. You can't expect to put in a couple hundred and be a millionaire, right? Let's be realistic. The more you're willing to put in, the more likely that you can see that turn into something significant, right? But even for 400 to 500, if we only hit, or if we hit 100 million in volume, then that's still, for a very small, amount, $3,000 worth of rewards of stablecoin that cannot go down. So you'd be at, what is that, a 7x or something, or a little over a 7x in your rewards, not including the ability of your bag to go down. And so that's crazy. And with only a little over 10 million at a certain point, you'd have your rewards covering your buy-in thing. That's why this project is crazy. People just don't see this, or they're so used to traditional crypto that we have to get the momentum with the people who this message resonates with. And at a certain point, that momentum, and we do have momentum right now, but we just got to get the momentum to where you can start to see it really pulling us towards, the direction we're wanting to go. And even though we have an amazing project, an amazing idea. There's so many things to this that's so unique. That's why you guys are here. You're not here just because you like me or you like the sound of my voice. You're here because you heard the idea, and once you understood it, you go, holy cow, right? And that's one of the biggest things about this project. It's not just let's do a reward project. It's why is all of DeFi failing, and how do you address that? And that's such an important thing to look at, because that's the entire point of creating something. Is like, why create something in DeFi? Trying to get money from people, right? That's what most projects are, is a way to extract value from the people at the bottom. But this project was designed through literally sitting for tens and hundreds of hours, like me just sitting there. What's going on? Why is this happening? Why do they have so much control? How do you balance this? Why are they getting all the value while everybody else is getting nothing? And then how do you balance that in a real way? And so, typical reward projects give all that value to everybody immediately. And that value is dependent on volume, right? Everybody, if we just get this much volume, right? But this project, because instead of giving out that value immediately, because if we do that, we're still giving it out on the scale to which the whales are going to get most of those rewards, right? And so the idea is there's a small group of people who are causing projects to not be able to grow, and they're getting all the value for doing so. And instead of creating something that just does that again, let's create something that pulls away from that, but does it in a way that keeps a project alive over a long period of time, and it incentivizes that project to continue to grow over a long period of time. That's why the rewards being given out in a bigger and bigger measure does that, because no matter what the monthly rewards are for the first 6 months that the 6-month rewards, no matter what, will always be twice as big what the monthly rewards are. Even if the volume stops, the 6-month rewards will always be twice as big. And then the 12-month rewards will always be 3 times bigger than the monthly rewards for an entire year, 3 to 5 to almost 6 times bigger, right? And that's not including all the unstaking fees going towards that. So we literally are building permanent value in the future in a bigger and bigger measure. And so you get kind of a little bit as time goes on, but the real first big events is the 6-month, and then the biggest event obviously is going to be the 12-month. And we've created this structure to where the people who are typically ruining the growth of the project, ruining the project itself, and being rewarded for it, we're pulling value away from them. And it's to save the project. It's to, make a project that lasts over a long period of time that benefits the people who usually get nothing. And so as cool as reward projects are, it was like these steps of, what if you give out the token, and that's this revolutionary thing. Everybody's getting the token just for holding, and with volume you get the token. So cool. We didn't know what we were talking about, and now I can clearly tell you that any project that's rewarding in the token is a bad thing, because it's making the whales at the top even stronger, and it's only going to benefit those who sell. It's giving them even more power to devalue the token that everybody has and that everybody's being rewarded in. But it was a cool idea to start with. And so kind of this next step, what I would call in the evolution of reward projects, is stablecoin. What if you preserve that value? Now it can't be devalued by anybody selling. That's awesome, right? And you give that out, and we saw projects do stablecoin rewards, and they were amazing. But what happened? They ran out of volume. The whales sold. There's no value in the future. The people who sold got most of the rewards, and they took most of the value out of the LP. And so Control Token isn't just a rewards project for the sake of doing a rewards project. It's trying to address of what's wrong with every single project in DeFi. Maybe even major, what you might call blue chips, are sitting on this heavily incentivized, giving value to those who ruin the project and not leaving value for those who stay. And so what we do is we don't want to completely take that away. You still want that to be an opportunity. It's just, it's so much heavily weighed towards the people at the top that it cannot be long-term in any sense in terms of the value. So by pulling away from them, we're saying, hey, you get a 100x, you put 1,000 in, you're sitting on 100K. That's freaking awesome, dude. And guess what? This is one of the highest reward projects you'll ever see, and all your rewards are mostly in the future. And so if you hold and you're staking and helping keep the project alive, you can get your rewards and you have the potential to sell. But when people leave the project, they're, instead of in a typical reward project getting all their rewards, they're saying, I'm forfeiting my rewards to all of you guys, and I'm going to pay basically a fifth of what I'm selling, into that. Typically, when a sell happens, there is zero positive to it, especially even considering a reward project. There's a sense with reward projects that are giving all that value out on a daily basis, hourly basis, whatever the threshold is, that they do forfeit what the rewards that they would have continued to have gotten by leaving the project, by selling. But they still were able to get a large amount of the rewards for the volume that happened during that time. And so most of the rewards in a reward project are going to the people at the top. And after they sell, there's no volume left, there's no value. And people are with a project that on the chart is not going to be able to get that momentum again, basically, unless some amazing utility or outside miracle basically happens to cause it to go on another run. And so that's the reality of what every chart is. It's all value. It's people seeking value. It's why they're incentivized. And obviously with a structure where you're saying whoever sells the most wins and whoever doesn't sell loses, no project is going to be sustainable for very long by then. The only projects that have any kind of sustainability is the demand that's on the token that creates a floor with a much, with a very wide audience that it's expecting it to move with the, with Bitcoin and with other, stuff going on. So that puts us in this situation where it's super important that people understand like what control token it is, and it's not just a rewards project. It's addressing what I believe is the reason why most cryptos are failing. And there's the only way to address that is to have value that counters the value in the liquidity pool, and it has to be significant. And so by delaying that value and by having a high tax, we have a high tax, and it's not high enough to scare you away, but it's high enough to be significant in terms of the value that's being stored up. By preserving that value and by delaying it, we're taking value away from everybody who leaves. Before the first 6 month event, everybody who left is saying, you guys can all keep my rewards, and I'm going to pay into those rewards, and I'm going to provide a cheaper entry into those rewards. In a typical project, when sales happen, it's abandoned ship, right? That's the game. Is this the end? Get out, right? And you might sell at the wrong time, but at a certain point, it does happen where it's abandoned ship, and everybody who gets out wins, and everybody who stays loses. With this, there is so much value being pushed into the future through volume, through buys, through sells, through the unstaking fees, through the reward events that we have going on top of that, that as people leave, they start to heavily incentivize everybody else to stay, and not just stay, but to keep growing and to keep working towards a bigger future, because buys and sells are constantly moving these rewards up. That's the crazy part about this. And so that's super important if you guys are trying to understand control token in a way to explain this to people. Just the reality of it is that people are not receptive right now. Nobody's just desperately wanting to hear about a new crypto, right? And everybody does it. You guys probably do, and I do. You've got this guard up of like, I've heard way too many projects. I've heard way too many people say this is the next huge thing. This is going to be big because they're doing X, Y, and Z. They've got a blockchain, wallet, NFT, some kind of new tech, and then you buy, it dumps, and it never goes anywhere. That's what happens most of the time for me. If you guys have a better experience than that, then you're probably just a better trader or better researcher than me when it comes to projects. But most projects, it's manipulation, it's bad actors, it's somebody who's not actually planning for a long-term project, which is such a unique and rare thing. That's why I want you guys to know what we have is super unique. It's super rare. We have something very valuable because we have a very unique idea that's addressing a problem that everybody's dealing with. We're uniting a community in the future growth of the project, which just rarely ever happens. Usually you don't unite people in the future growth of the project through staking. Usually people are being deceived into entering staking pools so that other people can take value, that of which they end up regretting entering those staking pools. But because we understand that by allowing the project to, grow, basically, if the community allows and commits to the project growing, then you're going to see the type of growth that leads to the type of volume that leads to the type of rewards that you want. And we understand that, right? We understand that we've seen projects that don't get crazy volume. Like I wouldn't consider 100 million crazy for this project. Now, 1 billion, that might be a hard milestone, but I still think it's possible, and that's what we're aiming for. But 100 million, I think, because we have such a unique idea that causes the community to be committed to the growth of the project, and I can't talk about the price, predictions, but in a hypothetical, if the price is going up a lot for any project, it usually goes up at an exponential rate. It goes faster and faster and faster and faster. That's why you can see the volume for these reward projects happen within the span of a few months. And so what we've done with this reward project is, instead of giving it out, we're building a future with it. And it can't go down, and the people who leave increase it. And so that is why it incentivizes volume to happen over the course of a year, which is why I believe, and this is why I tell you guys, I think there's one thing we need, just one thing. And it's the momentum that we have. At a certain point, it becomes exponential, and we work past all of the wallets, which I don't think there's many that might stunt that momentum a little bit. But at a certain point, if that momentum's allowed to grow, it can reach, this isn't guaranteed, but it can reach this exponential growth that looks insane. And that can take us to the heights that we want. And that just going up secures volume and everything you guys want for the rest of the year. If we can, I don't want to do price predictions. You guys can talk about this, and you guys can put the pieces together of what I should not be talking about. But if a project hypothetically does a 10x, 100x, or 1000x, and it has a reward system like what we have, that up volume just secured so much rewards. And if a massive sell-off happens, those rewards get heavily fueled for the 6-month and the 12-month, meaning that there's going to be volume happening between those events, between that period of when the big up and big down happens to the 6-month event, and between the 6-month and the 12-month, not including that I'm creating exciting things between all of this, and I'm working every day on this project. You have a crazy project, but that's long-term volume with the high tax reward project. I don't know if something like this, I don't know if it could be designed better, like maybe in terms of certain aspects, in terms of supply and whatnot. There might be ways to do this better because it's the first time. But in terms of saying, how do you create a long-term reward project that addresses the problem of why projects fail while rewarding people in a significant way who help keep the project alive? Because if you guys didn't see those numbers, if you didn't see that 100 million in volume, in tax volume, has $30,000 worth of stablecoin rewards for everybody who has 1 million tokens, or for every 1 million tokens you hold. If you've got 10 million, that's $300,000 with stablecoin, not including your ability to sell, not including the unstaking fees, not including the fact that it appreciates, not including the fact that if you're in the whale pool, you're getting an extra 1% that you only share with other people that are in the whale pool. And that pushes out almost most of the supply, pushes out a massive amount of the supply to be eligible for that. And not including, finally, that extra whale pool 12-month rewards that they get. So half of all the unstaking fees are going into a 12-month pool throughout an entire year. If there's a bunch of people unstaking, if it's millions or tens of millions, 15% of all of that is going towards a 12-month pool on top of all that for the whales that commit to that. And so we create a situation where typically when people leave a project and give up, it dies and people are stuck with a dead project. With this one, people leaving, everything that's happening is constantly fueling the future, and that future is constantly putting pressure and demand on the token, especially if the price goes down while the rewards are going up, which is how it works. It becomes, it starts to create these insane floors of what I'm talking about. If we hit 100 million in volume, it is likely that the price will be, what are we at right now? So this is all within a hypothetical. So right now, 1 million tokens cost $4,500, $4,700, something like that dollars. I guess between $4 and $5 grand. And so if we hit 100 million in volume, if we get that moment where it goes crazy, it takes off, and we see this crazy volume, which is a lot of projects have done that, and they didn't have what we have in place. So if anybody says it's not possible, I'd say they're crazy. The price for 1 million tokens, if we hit 100 million in volume, would probably not just be $30,000 for 1 million tokens, which would be like a 6x from where we're at right now, would be like the floor, meaning that the project, the value in the future is protecting the price from going down that far. Because, and not just that far, that would probably be at somehow magically, if it could happen, as far as it could go down if people weren't buying it up. But it's very likely that it would be much higher. The demand would be much higher than what the rewards are. In terms of, if you could, like I'm saying, if you could buy, if we do 100 million in volume and someone can spend $1,000 and get $1,000 in rewards, they're going to do that, right? And so if 1 million tokens cost 30 grand and you get 30 grand in rewards, then that means anybody can buy into the project with any amount of value and get the exact same amount of value within rewards. And what that means is that's probably not going to happen. What that means is that's protection against sell-offs, and it's setting a floor. But that's not just the floor, because what if I said, like earlier, what if you could spend, what if you could get half of what your buy-in is? People are probably going to do that too. What does that do? It protects against sell-offs to even the rewards being half of what the cost is to get in. And so the floor value will likely be much higher. And I don't know if I've seen a project that creates a floor like this one does. Because we have delayed future value and it's preserved, you're buying into future value. And because of that future value, it has a preserved floor that you're buying into, and it only goes up with buys or sells. And the unstaking fees fuel the 12-month rewards even more. So the calculations are they could potentially get really crazy, especially if we get that momentum that we're seeking. So I haven't fully explored the territory of how crazy this can get, but hopefully you guys can see that if you could buy in and get a tenth of what you're putting in, you might even do that, or a quarter of what you're putting in. So imagine the floor of what that would be. If we hit 50 million in volume, then it would be 15 grand for where we're at, and that's like a 3x from where we're at would be the floor if we hit 50 million in volume. So, and there's other factors that these numbers can change, but there's a lot of factors that I'm not including that increases those numbers as well, that I'm just keeping out to try to create a fair, balanced, but yet still really cool picture of what these rewards look like. And so, not including all the other factors of everything else that we got going on in terms of marketing, in terms of, partnerships, in terms of you've got me working day in and day out. Here I am. Here's my face. Here's what I'm doing. I'm just being very open and honest with you about where we're at, what the goal is. If you guys aren't in the Discord or the Telegram, I try to put out a voice message every day in the Discord and the Telegram. I look at the price, I look at where we're at, and then I communicate as a community where we're at and what the plan is forward, so that you guys know I'm here and I'm communicating with you. Now, it's been less than 2 weeks, and there is this lot of pressure to be like, make something big happen. But, I think that as counterintuitive as it may be, it will be that we have to, I'm not saying don't work hard and all of that, but you kind of have to let go of desperately wanting this project to succeed, and you have to pursue it with being okay if it doesn't, if that makes sense. And I'm sure you guys can understand what I'm saying. I don't want to sit here and give like psychology lessons or whatever, but if you have a desperate energy, it pushes people off, it puts it off, and it sets you up for being disappointed with failure. But if you're able to pursue what you want in the same way, the same amount of effort, but you're okay if the results don't come out how you want it, you're more likely to see success that way most of the time, right? Not saying don't put in everything you got. I'm just saying be okay with things not going how you want them to go, and you'll be able to react better and think better and plan better when you don't have that pressure on the line of, if this doesn't work out, then it's game over. And that's obviously what I need to do, because I feel the weight of everybody on me to make this project do something, even though I'm trying to say, hey, it's all of us as a community, and it is. I still feel this weight of like, I need to make this project succeed for you guys. I want to look back and say this project did well for you guys, and not just for you guys, but for people who continually come into the project. That's the final thing I'll say on this, because I can rant about Control Token for a while. Then we'll read the YouTube comments, and then we'll bring people up on Twitter, and I'll let you guys get back to your families and whatnot. Is that value in the future? It does something for the people who are getting in later. If there's a massive sell-off, people can enter into those and still be buying into this value in the future. With a typical project, when you buy into a massive dump, you're like, well, I hope the price goes up a lot. Where with this one, it's going to have this probably a very high floor above what those rewards are. It's probably just not going to be right at what the rewards are. It'll probably not just be half of what the rewards are. It'll probably get to a point where it's a small portion of the rewards that's covering your buy-in fee. But what that does is it creates a situation where if a big sell-off happens, then you're in this a great situation. We just had a $115 buy, guys. So I've got exciting things that I think are going to happen. So, and if you guys have seen anything, you've seen me how I've planned all of this, and so you can see the type of thinking that I have going into all of this. And it's a different approach to DeFi, which means we're doing a lot of traditional marketing, a lot of that traditional stuff, but ultimately I'm strategizing with how do we come up with a unique, different approach to making this succeed. And I have some good ideas. and you're going to be seeing a lot of that come out very soon. So we're going to go ahead and raise your hand on the Twitter side of things if you guys want to come up. If you're in the Twitter live, you need to go into the Twitter space. So just go to my profile, go to the AMA space, and come up and raise your hand if you have something you want to say. And if you guys want to say anything, like, I love listening to what you guys think about the project. Like, give me your perspective on it. I'm not going to say that anything bad about your perspective or anything. You know, some of you guys are buying cryptocurrencies constantly. It's great to hear from you guys when you come up and say, look, I've been buying crypto for the last years. This has been my experience, and this is how this is different. This chart looks different. The amount of community staking is different. This idea is unique and different. You know, there's a reason that this is resonating with you guys, and it's because I haven't seen it before. I haven't seen somebody do this, and kind of the biggest part of understanding all this is just being honest about what's going on, and it's all sentiment, it's all psychology. And so understanding that allows for us to have a project where if I had just said delayed stablecoin rewards, you guys might be like, oh, that's cool, and you might start to figure out some of the implications of that as you think about it, and it might be more exciting that way, actually. But a lot of people won't unless it's explained to them over and over and over and over again until you go, oh, this is starting to click. This is starting to sound crazy, right? And so it's super important that communication is probably one of the biggest factors to a crypto doing well. If you're trying to take an honest approach, right? You might be able to lie to people and deceive them into charts that go up that just benefit bad actors or people who got lucky. And that we have seen that happen. But if you're trying to build a real project that's more fair, that benefits more than just the sellers at the top, and you have a real genuine idea, that's the thing, is my confidence is in this idea. And because of that, I feel very calm. I feel very collected. I feel most projects, they might be very worried about a sell-off. I'm like, hey, do it. I'd love to see how quickly. Maybe we don't go right back to the 4, but if a big sell-off happens, I bet, you know, we recover a lot of that very quickly because of the system that we have that does that. And so it gives me this level of confidence in this system. And because of that, I have this level of confidence in just communicating that to you guys. There is way too many good things about this project. And all I have to do is keep telling you about them. And I'm not lying to you. I'm not deceiving you. The volume's insane. The stakers, we have most people staking. The bullishness, the targeting of the whales and incentivizing them to keep the project alive. The unstaking fees, the 12-month rewards, the 6-month rewards. It's crazy. There's so many positive things to it. And once we get this one thing that we're seeking, and I don't know how hard it'll be. I don't know if it'll take a long time to get it, if it'll happen in one day or in a couple months. But what we're seeking is this kind of exponential growth. And that will secure volume for the rest of the year, I believe, because it'll fuel those rewards. And whether the project is selling off or whether people are buying it, they're going to continue to fuel those rewards. And as those reward events come, you're going to have people that are selling, expecting people to be buying, and that's going to fuel the rewards. And you're going to have people buying, trying to get into those rewards. And then if you have a sell-off before that, that provides a better entry point into the 12-month rewards. Do you see how we, because of this structure, because it's laid out, and you have to think about this, and I'm almost done, guys. If I had put everything into 12-month rewards, you'd get nothing, right? Until the 12-month rewards. Do you think that would work? I personally don't. I don't think about that because I think I thought about that. You want someone to be in a project long term, but how do you do that? Well, you have to give them something along the way. That's why we're like monthly rewards. You get monthly rewards. 2% of all volume is going towards the monthly rewards. That's awesome. And it only goes to stakers. With a, typical reward projects, if it was just going to everybody had to share 2%. With this, everybody who's not committing to helping keep the project alive is forfeiting that 2% to everybody who is, which is awesome. And so this puts us in a really awesome position where we've got the 2% to the monthly. We've got the 6-month reward event. That's like the first exciting event. 4% of all volume built up for 6 months being given out to everybody who's made it to that. If you unstake right before that, you don't get it. You have to be staked in the 6 or 12-month pool to get those rewards when this first 6-month reward event happens. And then after that, whether a sell-off happens or a correction or people buy more, it doesn't matter. Like we're protecting against these worst-case scenarios that usually destroy projects because of what we're doing. And I think this has insane potential, right? You've got a community who's dedicated most of their tokens to the staking pools, which gives the project time, a long time. For if you're in the 12 or 6-month pool, you're giving us a long time to keep working, to keep marketing. To the more that more that we grow, the easier it is to grow, both in holders or in terms of price or in terms of whatever. The more we grow, the easier it gets to grow. We'll have more opportunities. What I say, my videos will have more impacts. The partnerships will have more impacts. People will want to work with us. There's so many opportunities that happen with growing this project, and you have a community, because I think it's so hard for people to get into this mindset. The mindset of a traditional crypto is get in, get out. You have to ignore everything that they're saying, and you have to get out at the right time, right? With this project, you have a confidence of a community and of real value in the future. And that's insane. The real value in the future is crazy enough. That's incentive enough. But to have that much of the community in the staking pools, to know that like they're all basically committed to not stopping the growth of the project, for allowing that growth of the project not just to happen in a short window, but over a long period of time. I mean, you think about how crazy something like this could potentially be. That if most of the supply is usually available and projects can see runs to insane market caps with most of the supply available to stunt that growth, what could happen if you get momentum and you have most of the supply not going to do that? You know, maybe some of them unstake and take those profits, but that if you're unstaking to take profits, you're crazily heavily fueling the future, especially as a whale. If you have 1.2 million tokens and above and you unstake, sell, you're forfeiting insane rewards in the future, right? And that's okay if you do that. We wanted to create a structure, or it's me, you know, I wanted to create a structure where people could take profits. Like, this is me trying to give everybody what they want in a more and fair way. People want long-term, they want it to be safe. You want the ability to take profits, you know? And the only way to take profits is if you have a project that's able to grow. And the only way to have a project that's able to grow is to have the community being united in the growth of the project. And the only way to do that is to put value in the future of the project that unites them, that's significant enough to unite them. And the final thing I'll say, if there happens to be anybody new in here, typical project sell-off happens. You either cut your losses and you sell at a loss, or you hold down to zero hoping that something happens. In this project, everybody's being protected from that because of that value in the future. If the project saw zero volume for the rest of the year, everybody in here right now would have value for the rest of the future that nobody could get access to, right? The only way to get access to that is to stake your tokens. The only way to stake tokens is to buy them. And so you'd have your share of value. Now, maybe those rewards aren't significant right at this moment, but it's better than 99% of crypto where you just get nothing. Think about how many projects you've bought, they went to zero, right? And sometimes I think that a problem that I'm seeing with Control Token is because we're starting at such an early price with the pre-sale and at launch, and even now at a 4x, that as we go on, if you compare the project to where it is now, or where it was a week ago, or where it was at the pre-sale, then you might be like, oh man, these rewards are getting not as good or whatever because the price is going up. And I have to keep going. If you do that, then the thing is no matter, the price could go way up and this project would still look 1,000 times better than most of DeFi. But you have to constantly compare this project to the rest of DeFi, because that's the audience that we have. That's the place we're in. We are a DeFi project. It's borderline a meme token, but it's what I would call a math token. This is not a utility token. It's not aiming to try to start a business. It's not any of that. It's a project that's basically trying to give people in DeFi what they want, which is something. I think there's a massive amount of people who just want something that grows long term, that isn't rugged, that is fair, that doesn't just benefit the people at the top, and they don't know how that is. They just think they're just stuck with that, so they're trying to be early. And so with a project like this, to know that all of you guys that's committing to the staking pools, which this is a crazy level too. It depends on how you feel morally. You know, if you're okay with dumping on a bunch of people, which that's the game you're playing, right? But if you ever sell for 100 grand or $1 million, you at some point it'll probably come into your mind, that was a bunch of people's money that I was able to take by selling, basically, who got in after me or whatever, you know. And so with this, because most of the community is dedicated to the rewards, the more of us that dedicate to the rewards, the more likely those rewards are. I hope you guys understand that. Like, the more people that are dedicated to the 12-month, the 6-month, the 1 month, the more likely the project is to be able to see that growth and to have that growth reach its full potential without being stunted by the supply that's committed to the rewards, because you're being rewarded for allowing the project to grow. And the more of the community that allow it to grow, the more likely it is to grow. Now, even if a bunch of community went out of the staking pools and sold, I still think actually, I don't even know what would happen. Like, what if everybody decided to pull out? I don't know. I think it would be able to, because of the structure we have, it might even be able to recover from things like that. But the point of what I'm saying is, the rewards that you're seeking become much more likely, and you can just know that like when you help this project grow by committing to the staking pools and by doing this marketing, you're actually going to be rewarded for it. A lot of projects, your efforts just went towards the whales who sold or the team who rugged. And with this project, you know, because of the stablecoin rewards, that your efforts are going towards not just you, but towards everybody who's working towards the growth of the project. Do you see? I don't know. I feel like that's such a rare, amazing thing to do, is to take basically one of the most powerful things of a project, which is the community doing marketing and the community entering into the liquidity pool, and to pull from that value in the liquidity pool, the most powerful thing, and to shift that value into the future, and then to unite that same community in that value in the future, so that they know that their efforts aren't fruitless, and that there's actually a benefit, and without it even being like too crazy. 100 million in volume, that's insane rewards for everybody. Even if you have a small bag, even if you only have like $400 worth, that's still $3,000 if we hit 100 million. That's still, compared, like I said, don't compare that to the people who have 1 million tokens. Compare that to every other project that you've ever bought, where you put in 400, you do a 2x, and then it goes down to $20. So I've ranted for long enough. I'm sure some of you guys enjoy this, but it's important that I continue to understand the project and communicate it to you, because just it's all communication. It's all understanding where we're at and where it is that we're going. We have an amazing setup, and like I said, sometimes it just takes one catalyst to get this movement happening. And if we get this movement happening and most of the community is dedicated to allowing that movement to go, that's what we could look for. That's what could be this catalyst to lead to potentially some of the most exciting spaces and live streams I've ever done. If we're sitting there live streaming and we're watching amazing things happening, I think that we have that potential. And even if we don't, that's what I'm aiming for. Every day this year, I'm aiming for to grow this project, whether it be through looking at how we can spend the treasury, which we just spent like $5 to $6 grand out of the treasury to do some marketing for 6 months. You guys are about to start seeing that. We're going to get AMAs with them. We're going to get what's it called, trending with them. We're going to get posts from them. We're going to get support from them for basically 6 months, coming up with this plan to do marketing. And then we can renew that at that 6 month point if we want as well. So I'm utilizing that. I have a lot of connections, but we kind of need to prove ourselves to people, and that's okay, because this message right now, if we're going to do well in the long run, the people that we're bringing in this project are going to benefit the most right now, right? In the long term. If we do well in the long term, the people coming in are going to benefit the most. While it might be the hardest points for people to make that decision on this project, but once we prove ourselves to people, then they'll feel more comfortable. Then they'll see, it's just one of those things. People don't want to get in early because it feels too risky. And then as a project proves itself, people will be like, holy cow, I should have got in. I'll get in now. I'll finally get in. And so, we'll see how this goes. I can't guarantee success, guys. But I can guarantee that, that we're not stealing from you. This isn't a rug. This is a long-term project. It's a unique idea. You've got the community behind you. You've got the whales united in the growth of the project. You have so many amazing things that you just do not have with the project. I would be very surprised if we don't see, massive success with this project. I'm going to go ahead and go to BM, and then I'm going to go ahead and read the YouTube comments. If you guys want to come up on Twitter, just raise your hand. Anybody can come up. I honestly love hearing from you guys. So if you want to come up and say anything, definitely come up. What's going on, BM?
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, the other thing is that people hear you say 100 million in volume. They got to understand that is over the whole year, not just in a month or in a day. It's over the whole year. That's extremely doable. It's 12 months, man. 354 days or whatever the hell are when the vault opens and we get all those delicious XUSD stable coins that'll hopefully be worth about $2 a piece, but that'd be great. But no, that 100 million volume is over the entire year, not just in one go. It's over the whole year.
Yeah, that's a great point. A lot of people, they always have a time frame in their mind, and it's 100 million in volume at any point. Like today, if we hit 100 million in volume, or this week, or this month, or the next 3 months, ideally you want to hit this goal as quickly as possible, because once we hit it, then you have the rest of the year to only add to that. But yeah, like BM's saying, it's also if it took the whole year to hit that, it would still come out to that. I think it comes out to like 270,000 in volume a day.
That
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Yeah, 273,000 in volume a day. And so like that's good volume, but the important thing to understand here is yeah, we might because with this project and because of this structure have a consistent volume over the course of the year that could lead to who knows what the numbers will be, worst case scenario 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, I don't know. But typically how this goes with a traditional crypto is it's not just steady consistent volume over a course of time. It's little volume, a little bit bigger volume, crazy volume, exponential volume. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're having this much volume. It's when you get that growth moment, that's what we're focusing on is this crucial moment at the beginning of a project where you can see the most explosive growth. And that's where you can see volume that you won't even be thinking over the course of a year. It could be you could see, some projects see hundreds of millions in volume a day. So, and no project has had the structure that we have had set up. If this idea works, and if the project, I have to be so careful on how I say these things. The project is able to continue to grow, and that excitement allows it to continue to grow to levels that are, especially at certain points, we start to break out, and people will be like, "Why is this project looking like this? Why is it doing so well?" And then people will read, and then people will want to know, what's going on here? And if we hit those certain points, milestones, if everything works and the project's basically able to reach because that's what it was designed to do, to be able to reach or find out what the highest it could go to is without being stunted like a typical project is, then that's where you can see these kind of insane volumes within a very short amount of time. And then we might be bringing in a ton of people into a project who understand the future value of the project, and who knows what that could look like over a short amount of time. So yeah, there's definitely looking at that. Like it's awesome to look at that, like BM saying over if it's the entire year, how much volume would you need a day to hit 10 million in volume? Well, you need about $27,000 a day and to hit 10 million in volume over the course of a year. But we're not aiming for just let's try to get a certain amount of volume each day. We're aiming for what causes cryptos to become top cryptos in this space, and how do we do that? And that's what we're aiming for. Top crypto with that, basically becomes allowing the growth to reach that potential, and we have a community that's dedicated to that. And with that comes the volume that you guys want to see potentially. And I don't want to get you guys too overexcited, but sometimes, and it could be that Evergrow was an awesome project. They hit like 500 to 600 million within a couple months. They hit that kind of volume. And so if we're able to replicate the success of Evergrow, which that may or may not happen, but if we do, because we're storing up value in the future, if we're doing that, then it would be billions over the course of a year. It would be multiple billions over the course of a year because we're storing up value in the future, because people are entering the staking pools. It would not just be the hundreds of millions and then a dump, and then there's no more rewards because there's no more volume, and then the whales took the price, so there's no more price action. We have something that's constantly incentivizing the price action and constantly incentivizing volume. That's a crazy thing to happen. So I don't want to undersell this project. I know some people who look at everything very negatively and whatever, and that's fine. Let them do that. Why make a project if you're going to aim to be average? Why not aim for the skies? Why not aim to make it as big as possible? And you guys know I'm a very realistic person when it comes to a lot of things that I've talked about. I've always tried to be very realistic. That's why I was able to cover the FUD about SafeMoon, because I wasn't lying to myself about it. I'm like, hey guys, I think all these bad things are happening, and I was right. I called it a lot of those things before they happened. It's kind of a weird obsession that I have, is I like seeing things that are playing out politically or in the world to be able to call what's going to happen early, and not to get too off thing, but I think we have a massive false flag coming because of what's going on politically right now. But that's the type of thinker that I am. And so, yes, if I do think this project has potential not just to hit a billion in volume, if we do well, based on the roadmap or plan that I've laid out with you guys. And I think you guys can see that's a pretty good plan. Most of the community's staked. You have a really good idea. You have permanent value in the future. As we get momentum, if we can get that momentum, there's not a lot of factors that can stunt it like it typically would, and there's reason to recover from it and to continue to grow because of that value in the future. And if that leads to the type of volume that we want to see early on, it very likely, because of the structure, will lead to having that volume consistently over the course of the year, which would lead, if we hit hundreds of millions in volume within the course of 2 to 3 months, then if we do similar to that or more than that over the rest of the year, then yeah, you've got billion in volume or more. And so then you know how the numbers look for a billion in volume. The numbers get freaking insane for a billion in volume. That's $300,000 to everybody who has 1 million tokens staked in the 12-month pool, who And that's not including all the factors of appreciating, the whale pool rewards, the unstaking fees. That's not including all of those things. There's a lot of things that can greatly magnify that. Ultimately, that would be, the sky high. Everybody in here does exceedingly well if the project ever hit 1 billion in volume. But even 100 million in volume, everybody in the project did really well. So we have an amazing setup. If anybody else wants to come up, go ahead and raise your hand. And BM, if you had something else you wanted to say, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and read the YouTube comments, and then we will close the space and let you guys get back to your Sunday.
Well, and if you look at the other charts that are doing, multiple millions in volume a day, zoom out and watch look what happened previous to that. It was a huge pump, and then the whales or whoever had free tokens dumped on it, and the volume's coming from people, the whales and the free tokens selling off, and optimistic people that are pumping more money and trying to buy a dip that are just getting wrecked, and it just continues on this downward just spiral.
Well, that's another thing is a lot of these projects can use exchanges or bots to create fake volume. And so that's an important thing to remember. That's happened even with tax projects where they remove the tax and they have it just buy and sell and buy and sell. So it looks like a bunch of volumes being created. We're not going to be doing that. The volume you see is the volume you see outside of the arbitrage and the contract selling when it has to sell. Other than that, the volume you see is contributing to those rewards. So you have a lot of manipulation going on that might make these other projects look like they're having this crazy volume. But the thing is, where I'm coming from is most people in SafeMoon know who I am. They've seen a crypto control video. They might think I'm a major douchebag, and that's fine, but they at least know who I am. It's like that Pirates of the Caribbean. You have heard of me. And so I became one of the, YouTubers that was constantly covering them and, talking about swap and liquefy and rewards and all these things. And people really found a lot of value in what I was talking about. So it's not like I'm disconnected from these projects or these communities that were part of these really big reward projects. And then I played a major role in leading people into Evergrow. I was like a bridge between thousands of people and Evergrow. And I still have people, you guys will tell me in the comments, you can ask people, yeah, I made a 30X. Yeah, I made hundreds of thousands. You made life-changing money. You've changed my life. So I have a deep connection to highly successful reward projects in the sense that I was a YouTuber for one, and in the sense that I was a bridge to this one very, very early. Like I talked about it before the pre-sale, I talked about it after the pre-sale, I talked about it super early, that people who, and I didn't just talk about it, I showed the rewards and how amazing they were. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I love Evergrow, and I love what they're doing. I still support Sam, and I still support Paul, even though he's not on the team anymore. But I'm way more bullish on this project than any other project, because those projects were really cool because of the potential of the rewards. But this one is really cool because we're addressing what appears to be what's wrong with all of crypto. You know what I mean? And because of all of these crazy implications, just through delaying this stable value, there's implications that come out of this that I just haven't seen so many crazy positives. The floor value, the natural demand, the protection against sell-offs, uniting the whales through the whale pool. It's crazy. All these ideas are crazy. And so when it comes to it, these volumes that we're talking about, well, SafeMoon had a 10 in, 10 out. Evergrow had a 14 in, 14 out. And that SafeMoon saw billions in volume. Evergrow saw hundreds of millions of dollars in volume with almost a 30% tax. Ours is 35 total, so 15 in, 20 out. And that tax is 2% to Treasury, and the rest is to those rewards to counter the liquidity pool, to counter the negative aspects of the liquidity pool that destroy projects. And it's doing it, right? It's doing it in a really good way. I'm going to go ahead and read the YouTube comments, and then we'll go towards, I'll read all the comments just to make sure I'm on multi-stream. So I'm going to shoot through these real fast. Then we'll go to the Twitter space. Anybody go ahead and raise your hand and come up if you want to. Anything you want to say, exciting, any questions you have. I'll do my best to answer those. We got James Rogers. Good day, everyone. Tommy DeFi, control token, not even joking. Hey, there we go. Yeah, we're working on a slogan, guys. I like the idea of just making up a slogan every time you try to say something. I don't know if we're not joking is a great one, but it sounds kind of funny. Kyle Wright with the Rockets. Appreciate that. Abraham Ahmed. Hi to everybody. Hello, Abraham. a lot of people popping up. Yeah, guys, make sure to like on the YouTube side of things. It gets people more in here, and you're probably just through liking a stream, you're going to bring in like 1 or 2 people, and they're probably going to see it. And it's hard to see these ideas and not think, damn, this is awesome. Hard to see that chart and to see the amount of people staked, to see my transparency, and to see a unique idea that hasn't been done before that's addressing every crypto project that you've been a part of that was a failure, why it failed. It's hard to see all that and think, maybe this isn't a good project, you know. Mike Penny, how's it going, man? Mitch Bromwell, if you are new and need information, please visit the official website, controltoken.net. What's up, Hermit Runner? Yo, what's up, man? All right. Any questions? I'm here because your honesty and your project. Awesome, Abraham. B-Man, after the 12-month control event payout, rewards will go to the next control event and also small portions to the next monthly and 6-month day. Yeah, this could continue to go on for years. I'm not sure. Like, technically it will no matter what, because there will always be value left over that's going towards the month, 6-month, and 12-month, whether that value is dollars or hundreds of dollars or whether it's, you know, thousands to millions. I don't know, but it definitely has the potential to continue to happen over a long period of time. John, hey, Thomas, at the 1 month, 6-month, and 12-month events, will the rewards be given out automatically or will it be done manually at a specific time by yourself? So, yeah, let's just say hypothetically, you're staked in the 12-month. When the monthly rewards happen, coming up soon, right? The monthly rewards may not be great, but when they happen, they will automatically, you'll be able to claim them, right? But say somebody only stakes in the 1 month rewards. When your time for the 1 month comes out, if you haven't claimed them, it'll claim them for you and kick you out of the staking pool, and you'll have to re-enter the staking pool to get those rewards. That's a really awesome setup because that protects the project from people who lose their wallets or any of those wallets that are eating away at rewards that wouldn't go to anybody. So it automatically will kick you out of the staking pools, whether you're in the 1, 6, or 12. But you stake in the 12, you're going to get all the monthly, you're going to get the 3-month, you're going to get the 6-month. And if you're in the 12-month pool by the 3-month rewards, you're also going to get that airdrop of 50 million tokens we're going to do, and the monthly rewards for that already have 40 grand going towards it, which is really awesome. Alrighty, great question. I appreciate you asking that, John. Armias, I'm in and staked 12 months, and while your math may be right, your idea of volume is a fantasy. Why are you in this project if you think it's a fantasy, bro? For one, you know, I wouldn't say it's a fantasy because I've said we may not get great volume. So I don't know if you can say something's a fantasy whenever it's going over the potentials of failure, medium success, and, you know, high success. But I'm comparing it to what I've seen, and I think that we have a better setup. If Evergrow can get hundreds of millions in volume, I don't think it's fantasy to say that we could get 100 million in volume. If you believe that, that's totally fine. But it's also crazy that you're in the 12-month pool. Like, what kind of rewards were you expecting? Like 5 million in volume, 10 million in volume? Going to shoot through the rest of the YouTube comment real quick, and then we'll go to everybody up here. Thomas Harrison, hi, how's it going, man? Linda Summers, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. You're forgetting one thing. We are responsible for the future of the project. We drive volume. Yeah, the more of you guys that take the weight of the success of this project on your shoulders, the better. Because it's basically just comes down to who's trying to grow this project. You've got people running the Discord, the Telegram. You've got people coming up with ideas, people creating images. You've got people doing giveaways. You've got a lot of people that are working to help this project grow. Let's go ahead and go to Richard. How's it going, Richard? What'd you say? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much for giving me opportunity. So I want to know just these token holders participate in the governance of the control token. And what mechanism have you implemented to make sure the fairness of decision making between small and big investors?
I am so sorry. I'm having a hard time understanding what exactly you're saying. I don't know if it's a signal or something, but it's just coming through. It's a little hard to hear what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you? Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your question?
So my question is, please, can we as token holders participate in the governance of your project, and what mechanism have you implemented to make sure the fairness of decision making between small and big investors?
Yeah, so when it comes to this project, ultimately the decision comes down to me. And then the fairness of that will be, everybody will have a different opinion on how fair I am or not. Some people will think I'm a ginormous douchebag who's unfair. Other people will think I'm pretty fair. But I think you'll come to find the community seems that I come to the community. Like we kind of had a blockchain that said, hey, what if we do controlled chain? And I ran that by the community, and the community, most of them were like, no, not right now. It's taking away from our vision. And I'm like, yeah, you guys are right. I don't know why I didn't think about that. But it does kind of take away from what it is we're doing. And we kind of do want to stand out. So ultimately, I'm constantly, you guys are messaging me constantly, and I'm constantly getting feedback from you guys. Sometimes I agree with it, sometimes I don't. Ultimately, the decision is up to me when it comes down to it, and whether or not you think I'm being fair with the project or not, I guess you'll just have to determine that for yourself based on, continuing to watch me and the decisions that I make for the project.
So I really appreciate so. But I know the control blockchain is a relational blockchain model. So which is quite unique. Can you explain the main advantage of this model in terms of data management and querying, especially for complex data that require extensive data and interactions?
Damn, I almost had that. Can I explain what? Can you like simplify it into like a really small sentence that might make it easier for me to understand?
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I wanna just know control token blockchain uses a relational blockchain model. So which is quite unique. Can you explain the main advantage of this model in terms of data management and querying, especially for complex dApps that require extensive data interactions?
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. I was able to understand at the time. Yeah, the control chain. We're not doing that. If we succeed, we'll do that. So it's not part of our success, but it's if we succeed, that'll open the door to utilities actually being successful because we'll actually have a market of people who want to use and be in front of the community that we've built, and that's where we'll be able to continue to build on what control token is. But ultimately, we've really pulled back from utilities, which some people might disagree with, but I think it's what we should do. I think utilities is kind of a more convincing idea or a backup plan, and most of the time it doesn't work. But if we succeed and we build a large following and a large community, it'll be very easy to create utilities and products around that community and then to use that profit or that revenue. And yes, it would constantly be to take what we've done with control token and to put that kind of twist. If we built anything, it's going to have this long-term benefit for the people that are helping the utility do well, whether it be the NFT marketplace. What if you took that fees, and what if you gave them back to the people who are helping to keep volume happening? You know what I mean? It's going to be that idea in every single way, whether it be a blockchain, NFT, or whatever it is that we might do in the future. But ultimately, I think that those things right now pull away from what control token is, and control token needs to succeed without those things. But if we succeed in blowing up, then utilities will be the next step, basically, probably for the next year. It'll be like, okay, this was the first year without any utility. Check out this next year. And if we do really successful within a short amount of time, we can start building those utilities to have ready by next year, which would be like best case scenario, where we just announce at the end of the year, hey guys, we have all of this. It's already ready to go. Here's the promotion. Here's the marketing for it. And it's going to fuel the rewards for the month, the 6 month and the 12 month, just how the taxes are. And so that could be something that could take it to the next level. But if we don't succeed, I don't want to do utilities. That's where I'm at. It's kind of a backup plan. So did you have anything else for me, man?
Yeah, I really appreciate it. But in recent years, technologies around the layer 2 blockchain solution have developed and dramatically. How does control blockchain fit into the bomb of layer 2 networks, and what makes it a control blockchain and different from all other platforms of this type?
Yeah, we are not doing that. So we don't have a setup for it. So I can't talk about what it would be. All I can talk about is that it would try to match what we currently have, but we don't have anything set up for that. I'm not promoting a blockchain, and we don't have a plan for one at the moment. It's only if we succeed that we'll do that, and then we'll have to design it all and lay it out, and we'll be able to talk about it at that time.
Yeah, I see. So I see that the AI is the most important thing that in the
Yeah.
different blockchain project. So do you have any apply to AI in your blockchain? technologies.
So yeah, Richard, I'm gonna have to go ahead and go to the back to the YouTube comments, and then we're gonna go to Sam because I don't want to cut everybody else off, and I'm kind of holding everybody hostage on their Sunday, on their day off. But yeah, there's nothing with the blockchain going on, so there's not going to be any answers regarding the blockchain. It's strictly just a reward project that incentivizes the growth of the project. But when we get to those, if we succeed, then I'm down to have you come up here and we'll explain all of that. But that won't really, even if we do that, that won't be for another year. If we succeed, even the utilities wouldn't come out for another year, but that's not on the roadmap, nor is it in the plan of the success of the project right now. But I appreciate you asking those questions, Richard. Let's go ahead and go to Sam real quick, and then I'll finish with the YouTube comments, and then we will call it. Unless somebody has a last minute question, raise your hand right now. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey Tom, hope you're having a great day.
Yeah.
It is a good Sunday. The weather is great. I have a quick question. Well, okay, so if we're getting rewarded in stablecoin, when people take profits after the 12 months, when they get rewarded, when they take some profits, I guess that's not going to affect the price, correct?
Of the stablecoin?
Of the control token.
No, it affects it when the contract sells it. When you see it, go look at the chart and you see some of these bigger red candles because it was building up too much. That's when it's affecting it. So it can't affect it anymore.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
And whoever is up here, always retweet, like, share. That's very important.
Yeah.
And Tom, thank you for your very huge professionalism whenever it comes to any question. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that, Sam. Yeah, I appreciate you guys, engaging with it. It might not feel like much, but if we all do it together, it just brings a lot of value. Sometimes somebody might not even be funny or have any kind of inherent value in themselves, and I don't mean that to insult them, but you guys have seen comics or videos or something, and you're like, why do people watch that? And sometimes it's just if a lot of people are engaging with it or showing up, people automatically assume value. And so we do have something valuable, but the more you guys show up and interact with it, the more value it adds to it from an outside perspective, and the more that helps to get this momentum that we're working on growing. We have good momentum right now. We just got to continue to grow that momentum. We got another $241 buy of Control token. Welcome to Control. We will take good care of you here. All right, awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the YouTube side of things, and we're gonna call it. It's actually, I don't tell people this, but I'm turning 35, and it's basically my birthday. I'm not gonna say when it is, but it's this month, and so I appreciate you guys saying happy birthday. And we're going to dinner with my wife's family. I grew up not celebrating Christmas, holidays. I grew up like a hyper Calvinist, and we just didn't. All holidays are pagan. We didn't celebrate nothing. We didn't even celebrate birthdays. And so for me, I usually do nothing on my birthday. But her mom really wanted to do something for me, so she's making some food and she's making a little cake, and then I guess they've got me some shirts or something. So that's awesome. And we're doing that later tonight. Mr. B, I invested because of you in the first YouTube video you made on EGC. Awesome, man. You're here because of that. So that was crazy. I didn't know Evergrow was going to be big. I didn't know it was going to be massive, but I was super bullish on the rewards, and everybody followed me into that. And kind of, there's this weird aspect to crypto where believing in something can cause it to succeed. You know what I mean? It's like, that's why you have to balance those. You can't lie, but you also have to understand that there is a bullish sentiment that helps the project do well. And I would just say that to everybody in the Discord and the Twitter and anywhere. If you're annoyed by things, whatever it might be, rewards not showing, not be able to buy it, whatever, then it's good to talk about it in a positive and constructive way that leads to a solution. But if the way that we're going about it isn't leading to a solution, and it's basically just complaining, that negativity spreads, and then people don't feel good. And it's like, hey, if that negativity can lead to a solution, then that's fine. But if it's just causing people to be upset, and you're spreading stress and stuff, then it's not good for the project. And so just keep that in mind, because remember that psychology and sentiment is everything with the project. Cheers, John. All right, cool. I think I'm caught up on all the comments. Okay, maybe not one. I made $500 from Evergrow and roughly, oh my God. Okay, so this is a crazy testament. I made $500,000 from Evergrow and roughly $40,000 in BUSD. That was from a $5,000 investment. Unfortunately, I didn't take profits at the top, but still took about $100,000 and still hold the rest. That's crazy. And that was and I invested because of you and the first YouTube video you made on EGC. You see, guys, this is the kind of impact that I want to have on you guys. I'm not trying to take advantage of you to be my exit liquidity, right? I'm trying to actually help people. I want to make money. Yeah, I made money on Evergrow. I didn't make that much, but damn, bro. That dude made 40 grand in rewards. That's insane. That's crazy. All right, guys, it was an awesome space today. Does anybody up on the space want to say anything before I close the space out? Definitely go for it now. Awesome. You guys have a great Sunday, and this could be a very exciting week, so just keep that in mind. And we're going to start implementing some plans, you know, the new giveaway strategy that should be more effective, and that's the right way to do it. And we have marketing starting, and we have some just exciting things that could be happening this week. So, you know, we'll just keep grinding, guys, and you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next video or space whenever I see you guys. Oh, last thing I want to say to you guys is, for anyone who's still listening, there will be a week in October that me and my wife just plan to go on a vacation. It cost about $900 for about 4 days. And mostly I'm wanting to get to a beach because I think that breathing in that salt air is supposed to be really healthy for you. And she's got health issues, and I've got all kinds of health issues. There's something wrong with me. So, but I'm hoping that, you know, just being at a beach for a little while and breathing in that salt air might help. So letting you guys know that I have a vacation planned like 2 months out, and that it was not some crazy. I don't want people to be thinking, oh, he's using the money to go and do this. It's $900 out of my own money that went towards that, and it's months away. I don't know what'll be happening, but I'll still be able to do spaces, videos while I'm out there. I just won't be able to live stream from my computer or make videos with my computer, but I'll still be able to do spaces and make like more regular content, just recording myself. So just giving you guys a heads up so you'll be able to know when we get into October that at a certain point I'll be going on like basically a vacation for 5 days. And we're driving, so we're saving a lot of money. Anyways, guys, thanks for showing up today. Really appreciate all you guys. I'll see you guys in the next time. You have a great weekend. Gonna end that. All right, YouTube, you guys have a great day. Thanks, Mitch Bromwell, Control Token Fireman, Mr. B, John. Yeah, dude, that's insane. $40,000 in rewards is crazy. To sit on 500 and watch it to 100, that's sad. But you still pulled out 100. You probably still got like what, 70 grand after that. So awesome, guys. YouTube, you guys have a great day. I'm gonna go ahead and looks like we got another $241 buy. So that's awesome. We're sitting really good. We got good momentum going, and we're just gonna keep grinding. We're gonna try to make this happen. So everybody have a great week, and I'll see you